Hello, all. Welcome back to Melanin Madam. Tonight we have a full topic, trigger warning in advance. I know I warned you guys on Tuesday, but if this is not a topic that you are comfortable discussing, it is going to be around Diddy, one of the alleged victims, but it is detailed. And so if you are a victim or know a victim or it triggers you in any way, I strongly suggest you not listen because it's worse. We could not, it was impossible to take them out. So I apologize in advance, but it needs to be discussed. I'll have our co-host introduce herself and then we will jump right in full night.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. It's Rose. Happy Thursday.
That's it. Every Friday Eve.
Right.
So let's jump right in. I will start with, so there was a girl or a woman, she's 27, 26, 27, that came out on TikTok recently and told her version of a story about what allegedly happened at Diddy's house. However, good old Rose went back and found previous video that she did that, of course, was not widespread enough like it should have been. And there were some variations in that video. I will say in advance, there's a definition underneath the video. Take the time to read that because there is actually a disorder that I believe that this is attached to. She mentioned it twice. There's a disorder that's attached to it. Basically, that if someone suffers from trauma as a youth, they kind of separate themselves from their body, which going through trauma, I'm pretty sure many can identify with. But in that process, and I want to say this at the beginning because this isn't to go in on her. This is to learn and definitely have compassion because it's very sad. But I believe that a part of her has attached to what has happened now. But I don't exactly believe that that what she said happened today. And once you hear what she said back then, you make your own decision. But just keep that at the forefront of your mind so that you're not listening to judge, you're listening to learn. Don't you think so, Ro? Or do you not think so? You think so? Okay. Okay. Very sensitive topic. I'm a little nervous. Okay. So let's start with the first clip and then we will go down the line. Make sure that you like on the way in, share, and subscribe. And I will play the intro. Here we go.
Many celebrities. Half of them I did not know. It didn't faze me to see them. I was in over 19 high schools in 1 year. I never stayed in a place longer than a month. I was never in a home. My foster mother, that is now my adopted mother, I'm adopted now, went from shelter to shelter, from CPS report to CPS report. We have been stopped and pulled over in 8 states without a ticket, without a warning, and without any logical reason. They just want to know where our car is. When I was 16, I ran away from CPS. This is how I escaped. I was auctioned to Russia. My pimp sent fake FBI to homes to interrogate. It didn't end from there. It hasn't ended at all. I'm 27 years old now.
I was one of the kids that was one of the party favors. And a party favors means that you're set on top of a table and you're used as a toy for anybody who comes across the table or who wants to party at it. Everybody turns into like a frenzy and starts going into a crazed animal-like demonic state. And you have no idea what's going on. And yes, there was a time where I was just like completely don't give a shit because it happened, and I was the type of kid that thought that, you know, you're in the presence of royalty and they make it seem like you're in the presence of Hollywood, so you should be honored and you should be appreciating that you're there. And I was that person. I totally acted like that. I was like, oh, it's fine, you know, it really doesn't matter. But then it really did matter. It's not just celebrities. There's a lot of different people. They called it an all-black party, but it was mainly because a lot of the party favors were black kids. I was in the care of Riverside County Child Protective Services at the time. I was 15, barely 16. 15, 16. It's foggy. A lot happened that night, and I went really numb. If there's anything that could go from that, then pull them. Because we all know that there's so many cameras around. So I can try to post the affidavits and I can put out what happened, but at the same time, what am I supposed to do when nobody's really asking about the kids that are present in these parties now and were then, because they're really just going after all the celebrities and the adults, which
So my question is, and one of the things that I identified, Ro, is that in her interview from 4 years ago, obviously the people changed. And we'll hear that. I've broken it down into smaller clips, but the people changed, but also her ages changed, which could be in relation to being a victim. So it's no doubt in my mind that she was a victim. Is it truly possible to go to 19 schools in 1 year, something like that? Do you think when somebody displaces themselves, it displaces their entire life? Could somebody pull things from different places and make that their life?
I have no idea, but I know that if she went to that many schools, that's documented. So people should be able to put all that up. I don't even think it isn't. You don't even go to school for 19 months in a year. You only go for what, 8 months, 9 months a year. So you mean to tell me you went to 2 schools a month or something?
Those are the things that I'm like, how, and the reason you said it, the exact reason why I was thinking that. Even if there are corrupt people, right? Just like we have FBI now that have picked this up. If there were corrupt FBI, by reporting things on a higher level and the things that trigger a higher level, that would have triggered the system, right? Because
But remember, if you watch the whole thing, she said the schools were behind it too.
right, but that's why I'm saying if things like that go to a higher level, meaning there is an audit system behind the scenes. Let me correlate it for you guys. SBA, right? SBA in California, there were corrupt people inside of the SBA, but we all know it went to a bigger level because of so much happening. It went above the people in the office. It went above the people that make those level decisions. It went widespread. When things go widespread, then that means that you have to pay attention to it. So something like that wouldn't trigger like a widespread something that, hey, something is wrong because this social security number is moving all of these times. So even if it was somebody in Riverside, by the way, that's California, Riverside, California, it would go higher than that. You get what? So that's some of the things lead me to believe parts of the story are not okay, are not true, which is why I said at the beginning, I believe this is a part of a disorder because this isn't to necessarily tear her apart, but to have some hard stops of where things should have been identified. And that's a major one because you get paid based on attendance for school.
Right.
So money is going to be, above that, I would think. So let's start with the interview. Let's jump right in. I already put the link to the interview from 4 years ago. It's about 21 minutes in the description below. And then I also put the full link to the TikTok story of her saying it down below as well, because obviously we could not pull it off. The one Ro initially found for us, because you break it up so much, it was like 2 hours and it deserved that 2 hours. We have 1 hour. So we need to break it down a little bit more. The intention of this is, one, victims are sometimes victims, just not a victim of who they're accusing sometimes. And every claim coming this man's way is not the truth, which is why sometimes we have questions because we're like, things don't exactly sound right. Have dinner with us and enjoy. Here's the first clip.
Allie grew up in the school of hard knocks, to say the least. She was one of 6 girls in a troubled home. Her parents were affiliated with the Black Panthers, the radical black separatist group, and maybe that's to blame for what happened to her. Allie says that her biological mother routinely slept with authority figures and soon initiated her own children into the same practices. Allie says that her mom would hand her over to be abused by the local police chief. She would take her to a trap house just to be abused. And when Allie coped with that pain by running away or by harming herself, she was rewarded by being placed in new foster care homes, where instead of her mother, it was teenage boys and foster fathers who in turn abused her. At the age of 13, Allie was trafficked first into strip clubs, then the Hollywood party scene. She says that she endured stalking, poisoning, and police harassment. And most incredibly of all, she says that this is a system that major American celebrities have knowledge of and participate in. Celebrities like John Travolta, Beyonce, Barack Obama, and yes, Joe Biden.
So, like I said, the names have changed, which was my first indication that as gruesome as that man is, and all of the other people that were there, these are different names. It didn't start with this man's name. And if it was this man, it would have started with his name. Let's just be honest. We know that it would have. Instead, it was the president who allegedly, in my head, probably has erectile dysfunction.
Right.
I don't really see how. But again, a victim can still be, two things can exist. She can be a victim, but I don't think, I believe she is a victim, but I don't believe she's a victim of the people that she is naming. Ro, do you want to tell a little bit about why they pulled it and the timing that they're saying about this? Why it wasn't televised or widespread?
I don't know why it wasn't widespread, but I feel that she.
You don't remember what he said?
Oh, from the Black Panthers?
He
What?
said that when it was put out, supposedly it was close to elections.
Oh yeah, it was close to election time. Yeah, they did say it was close to election time. But that first one that we seen, what was that? Was that 2 years ago or 4 years ago?
It says 2020.
Okay. So it makes perfect sense. And then I don't know if you put that part in there where she kept on saying Donald Trump, Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well,
I pulled it. Yeah, I pulled it.
Oh, okay.
But you can talk about it.
Oh, okay. So when I seen it, because at first I believed that girl too. I believed her when I seen it on TikTok. I'm like, dang. And then when I seen that today, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I cannot believe that girl whole story has changed. Like I believed her. And then when they said it was around, election time, I was like, okay, this makes sense. Why I feel the way I feel, because I feel like she was a plant from the Republicans. She said all this stuff. First, it was Barack Obama and Joe Biden and Oprah Winfrey, John Travolta, and all of them. Now, and the president is P. Diddy. But when she said but before, when she was saying Barack Obama and Biden, she was also saying that Donald Trump was paying them. And so he was like, just to for us to understand it, what do you mean Donald Trump is paying? Oh, he's paying to help people to find the people that are doing the trafficking. Soon as she said that, I was like, okay, she lying.
Me too.
Soon as she said that, I was already iffy when she was saying Barack Obama and Biden. I was like, not by Obama. But still, I know I can't. He's still a man. But I was still like, Barack Obama and Joe Biden, like, no. Soon as she said Trump, I was like, okay, the Republicans put her up to this. Because nothing made sense. Her saying that they got pulled over 8 times because they just wanted to see where they was going. If she was trying to put them out there like that, y'all know that her and her adopted mama would have been unalive by now. They're not about to stop 8 times. Soon as they would have got you, you would have been gone.
But the timing of that as well. Notice she repeatedly says, I went from group home to group home. Then she said shelter to shelter. Then she said she is now adopted. But the end of her story and the timeline, and you guys will hear it if you pay attention when you listen to the two videos, was close to 18. And then it started at 15 or 16.
It makes sense.
It doesn't align. It
Yeah,
doesn't,
it doesn't
even for
make
that
sense.
short time.
And I hate that she did that because, you know, people already, they be mad when, like how we're talking right now, I'm pretty sure we'll still get backlash for this, saying that she's still a victim and we not, that's why people don't come out because X, Y, and Z. But the thing is, when people make, your story didn't change all the way from everything that you said. It makes it hard for us to even believe the real victims because you're changing your story. I don't care how much happened to you. You ain't about to change your story like that.
Mm-mm. Not if you, I don't think that you would change it like that, especially if you voluntarily are about to go onto TikTok, where you know that it's going to be scrutinized. But I believe, number one, she doesn't look sober. Let's just keep it a buck. She doesn't. And that could be a direct result of being a victim as well. All of these things can exist.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. When you look at things like this, I say it all the time. If you're already a victim, you don't need to add extra. I believe this is a disorder for her, but you don't need to add the extra. And the extra is adding this man's name because now that's the hot topic. The last time you did it, it was a hot time because it was the elections. So it could be a gypsy type of thing, the Gypsy Rose type of thing. You don't know. Here's the problem. If I'm guilty of what I did, let me be guilty of what I did. But if I'm not, I don't want to be guilty of what I didn't do. Let the person be in trouble for what they actually did, not saying that, well, because you did these things, we believe you did this too. That's very unfair. And this is an example of it. I don't believe that everybody that's coming out about this man is telling the truth. I just don't. And this is an example of it. You can put things together and make it sound extremely believable, and that doesn't mean that it's true. It's very unfortunate. Is she a victim? She's a victim of something. She's definitely a victim of something. But through all of this, even this interview, and you'll hear it, there's not a single piece of evidence. If you are going to bring it out and you have this plethora of evidence, I think that they should have.
She keeps saying, I have it, and I can prove it, but she never does. She never puts it out. And even when the man asks her to explain the events that happened, she will talk about something else. Just like how he says, oh, so you're saying Barack Obama and Biden SA'd you? Yeah. And she'll just say, yes. Okay. So can you tell us some of the details of it?
She just says yes and goes into something else.
Go to something else.
But if you,
but
in
I
the first,
I have videos, and you know, people would pay millions. You own TV right now, so why not just drop them?
Because she said people will be hurt, but that's a whole nother thing. We'll get to that when we get to that part. Again, a lot of contradictions. You said that you were in this all the time, and then if you listen to the actual one at the end that's more recent, she says it was a busy night. I checked out. I don't remember a lot of the things that happened. Was it a night or was it a season? Which one was it? Because you just said it was a night, and then you said I never saw Donald Trump there. Where is there? Because you literally said this, you just said it was once, and it's very interesting. But let's play the next clip. That way you guys can hear more of what she says, because we already know. Here you go.
In July of 2020, Allie stepped forward to tell her story. Instagram tagged that account as, quote, unsafe for the election and blocked it. Like we said, this is a horrific story. And we will not silence Allie Carter. We want to learn all about it, and she joins us now. Allie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Stu. I really appreciate you.
So, in July of 2020, you came out on Instagram. You couldn't bottle it up anymore. You made claims about Barack Obama and Joe Biden that shocked the world. How did it get there? Take us through your story.
Well, you know, as young as I remember, I've been trafficked through many elite places. I went from the Buckingham Palace to under the Getty Museum in Los Angeles, still under the custody of Child Protective Services, the child welfare system. It went from trap houses in your everyday neighborhood of Moreno Valley, California, and Los Angeles County, strip clubs, and into Hollywood elite parties. There was never a time of peace in my life. And I remember very clearly since 4 years old, there was never a time of peace in my life.
So, in relation to distance, she's stating that she's in Moreno Valley, and she's stating that most of what happened outside of England is in LA County. For those of you who don't know, that's about a 2-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
But she's going to say later she would go to school, the pimp would come and get her, go do what she needs to, and she would be back by the time school was over. If you know anything about California traffic, that on the day,
it ain't no way. And she even said them. That's when she started saying it was tunnels under the school. They would have them going, and that's when even then she was saying they would. That's when they would go. The schools was in on it because she would go under the tunnels at school, or even sometimes take planes. How is you doing that from 8
she
o'clock
said
to 3
every
o'clock?
type of transportation is available underground.
And now I do believe her when she said it's the tunnels and stuff is underground. I do believe that, but I don't think that she would be able to know where she was at. If she was really being trafficked like that, I don't think that she would know where she was at. Yeah, you might know that once you get there, they might take the blinds off and you somewhere, but I don't think you would know, oh, I went under here from under school, or
No.
I was under this museum.
No.
I don't think that they wouldn't. I don't think that they would be.
How would she know those things? In order to know those things, you would have to go outside and see the sign. And we also know that at that age, if you came from out in Moreno Valley and you were in the system all of that time, how would you know about other cities to that degree that you know the names of exactly where you were?
I was too through when she was at the Buckingham Palace. I'm telling you,
I Googled it to see
I was just like,
if there was a different Buckingham Palace. I did Google it. I just finished all of my research about she is, but I believe that something happened and it has triggered a whole different personality.
She just got a wild imagination now. I think something got a cold imagination. She needs to write some books. Yeah.
Because Buckingham Palace, you're not getting there and coming back by the time school is out. Like that kind of stuff. That's not even feasible.
Yeah,
so
you could be down there for some weeks or some days. Because from here to Buckingham Palace, that's probably about a 12 to 15 hour flight.
And their parties were at night. She even explained that the party was after the party. So
let me Google how long that flight is because I know it has to be at least 12 hours.
What, the flight?
From California to London.
Oh, yeah, it is. At the very least, that's a straight flight. Okay, while you're Googling that, I will play the next clip.
Who started all of this? I mean, your mother originally. And then who carried on? How did you end up in Buckingham Palace and underneath the Getty Museum and alongside some of these household names that I just mentioned?
By the time I turned 13, I had enough of being raped and beaten and tortured behind rocks on La Salle in Moreno Valley, California. I had enough of going through dealing with my mother's boyfriend. She was nothing of a mother, but I had enough of dealing with them at 4 o'clock in the morning. I had enough of being the favorite out of the girls, and I couldn't take anymore, so I tried to kill myself. When I turned 13, CPS came into the picture. I was put into mental hospitals, and then finally I was put into foster care. I thought things would be over from there. I thought it would be fine, and then after all of that, I started thinking that I was talking to someone online, but everybody knew me before I knew them. I was trafficked by a pimp who claimed to be 27 years old, and he was not.
10
So
hours.
now- 10 hours. Okay. So my question with this clip is, number one, what was the purpose of inserting that her parents were Black Panthers? Did Black
It
Panthers
didn't have
were not?
nothing to do with it. It didn't have
Mhm.
nothing to do with it.
So it
I
goes
had to
along with
rewind
the.
that part again when I first heard it because I was like,
Me
okay,
too.
I'm trying to figure out where the Black Panther part came from.
Me too. I was like, which Black Panthers? Because that's interesting. Um, um, Pay to lie or like you're sounding traumatized. I think that's true. I think the boyfriend is true. That's what I think is true. The other things, I don't. They're not true. They're not true. Um, yeah, I don't think that they are true. But for that one, it was the very direct question of who did it. And then remember, it's these questions are supposed to be based on the accusation she's making towards the who's to know people. When she answers, she has an elaborate answer for things related to home, but not and only up until she left when they took her. Everything else after that, Ro is right. And I pulled that for a reason. I didn't cut that out. It's not there. Those answers are not there. So I breezed past a lot of what she would say leading to that because it was nothing. I skipped to the meat and potatoes so you could at least hear what her answers sound like because she might repeat the same thing over and over. That's how I made my clips. I didn't make them in anybody's favor. There are actually 8 clips, but I also believe, and I pulled this because we're going to give her a chance to speak. As a true reporter, if you truly wanted the truth, you would have asked her for some of that damn proof before you brought her on there. You did that to exploit her. You did that because you were one of the people that was going to be the first to give her an opportunity to speak. So if that went viral, you would be at the forefront of that going viral, and you would be the one to get paid, get credit, get all of these things, and get the ball rolling. But if you truly meant that to do justice versus just have somebody sit there and freaking talk, you would have made her provide at least, hell, even Tasha K does that. Even if she makes somebody show her proof before she has them on the show to even talk about what they're talking about. Now, whether or not she shows it or not, she may not. That can be in confidence, no different than HR. If you show me what I need to see, then I can go to bat for you. And I don't ever have to tell them unless we end up in court. But how do this girl keep saying, I don't know who to give it to. I don't know who to give it to. How you not saying give it to me? You're a reporter. How? That's exploiting. You're no better than anybody else. You didn't want the truth, mister. How you didn't get not a piece of information, Ro? Not a, like you said, not a school record, not just one something to show movement, to show anything. How do people keep getting to report like this? That's people's names. Because according to her, Michelle Obama is a man.
Yeah, Michael. Girl, I fell out on that too.
I was like, damn, Rose. I mean, as soon as you called me, I got straight in the car and drove home. Like, I'm going to need all these hours to go
Yeah,
through
I
this.
couldn't believe it when I seen that. I said, I know this is that girl that we was talking about.
She sent me the thing, y'all, because I said I'm talking about quick intermission. I need a minute. This is what we're supposed to talk about today because, right, nobody has considered if there were kids there. She was the one I was going to share. And then Rose sends the thing, and I'm looking at the thumbnail like, wait, this is the same girl. She was like, I thought it was her. I'm like, mother. Now I got to sit here and look through this. And again, it's only 20 minutes, but a 20-minute conversation can evolve into a broken down 2 to 3 hours, something when it's back
Like
to
that
back.
lady did.
Yeah, when it's back to back things. Thank you, Jesus. I was able to find a 20-minute one. So let's listen to the next clip. Clip number 4. Here we go.
He was a 27-year-old trafficker that was going in and out of my homes, paying off my foster parents, and taking me to Hollywood elite parties over and out of the country, which is, you would think, would be where the FBI would have stepped in. I was letting my social workers know, and they told me to stay quiet. They told me that if I told anybody else, that I would be shipped off to Arizona and no one would ever find me again. So, you know, at one point, you learn that you have to deal with what you have to deal with when the people in authority are not there to help you. And everybody is so worried about the elite, and we can give those names of Barack Obama, Joe Biden. We know about Michelle Obama, that's a man. We know about Too Short. We know about Akon and Steven Tyler, and we can give those names all day, and everybody is so worried about that. But what you should be worried about is the people that are in between, the people that go as low as your grave diggers. I was trafficked to people within my schools. I was trafficked in underground tunnels that link under your schools, through your cemeteries, under your amusement parks, through Universal Studios, and into Hollywood elite homes.
So again, her focus is really on everyday people. I think that all of these things coming out, and even back to, let's just say the trigger was R. Kelly. Let's just say that, because this just happened. The video, the initial interview was years ago. Let's just say that's what it was. But in her head, similar to what a lot of us say, yeah, that's a celebrity that does it. But what about your uncle? What about the person in your family that's doing this shit? Nobody is saying nothing. What about the everyday person that nobody is saying anything and you should? What if that triggered her to become angry? Because how come you're only focused on these people? Because she still wants the other people that are on those tapes to be exposed more than she cares about the celebrities. What do you think?
Girl, I didn't know what to think, because it was all her stories are all over the place. I didn't know what her goal is in this.
And y'all, I'm playing them in order. We're going through it in order as if we were just
end
listening
goal
to it
was.
together.
I'm telling you, I was just in shock when I was listening to it. I don't know what to think.
Yeah. So I need you guys to know, oh my God, I can't follow this. She planned it all out of order. No, I'm not. I actually made it a little bit easier for y'all, because now, at least when you listen to it, you won't have to run it back like, wait, did she just say this? Yes, she did. Like we did. I literally got the call. It was 5 o'clock. I promise you, I did not finish until 8:15. These clips is only 1 minute, but I like to be accurate. So I went back and listened. And then after I listened the second time, I was like, wait, but in the other one, I think she said this. And so we had to change the whole scope of what we were doing, but still, get it right and show grace. I'm trying to make sense of it all, but I don't think we can. I think it just has to go back to the fact that some people have that disorder that comes as a result of being a victim. And in about 5 seconds, I'm gonna take this lash off because something is digging in my eye. My apologies. That was clip number 4. Let's go to clip number 5. Here we go. Yes, no, clip.
So the names that you just mentioned, Barack Obama, Steven Tyler, Joe Biden, Michelle Obama, have you had personal sexual experiences with these people?
Yes.
These people participated in sex abuse firsthand with you?
Yes. Was sold to Joe Biden. Multiple times. These are the people that have put something in your face and made you want to believe that you are the ones that are responsible to make them look the way they look. Their image is not what you think it is. They're sick, evil people.
Oh, Jesus and Jerusalem. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm having a medical issue. My eye. Let me cut off my camera. I'm so sorry. Okay, so What do you think when you hear that clip? Because she answered it directly. She said yes.
She said yes, but she ain't giving no details or nothing.
Uh-huh. Not a
She just
single
said
one.
yes. So you're saying Michelle Barack, yes. Yes, what?
Right. Right. Because if
And then
you've
that's
been to
what
these
she starts
places, wouldn't
saying.
you have said, yes, I saw him this time in Hollywood, that time in,
I'm already
this
know
particular
everything. He wouldn't
space?
even have to ask me no questions because he'd be like, "Girl, I will be the whole interview because I'm about to tell everything. I'm about to put everything out there."
I mean, if you there, right?
Yeah, if you there and you keep saying that you have the tapes, how do you have a tape of that?
That's where I'm a little confused. How does she have a
How do you
tape
have
as
the
a
tape?
minor going into
Exactly.
those spaces? And she was taken in allegedly by uh
Pimp.
her boss. And what boss are they letting come in that space?
Right.
What boss are they letting come in that space? Because that's a whole lot of hands on this now. Now it goes
Mm-hmm.
from the PIMP is at the top, then CPS, but she told CPS, and
CPS told her to be
then
quiet. Like but I
right.
do. That's why I said I believe her in some ways, but it's not this. This is too far fetched. I do believe a lot of those kids, in foster homes and the ones that's been adopted, I do believe they go through a lot of sexual trauma. I
Agreed.
believe that wholeheartedly. But this is just a whole fairy tale.
I agree. She
I
would
can't
have
say
done
that
better
for a
saying
fact,
Trump.
but
No, just wait till you hear what she says about Trump. And remember in your mind, this was at election time. So just
mm-hmm.
remember that in your mind. I agree, Ro. That's why we wanted to talk about this. And still, after we found out that there was some untruths that are very clear, we still wanted to cover this particular story because nobody else is the way that we are. It's still a lesson to learn in it because there are people out there hurting, and quite possibly these are some of the people that are blaming our sons and our nephews. And then once they get their lawsuit and spend all the money, then they come back out and say, "Oh, it wasn't them. I was really a victim of this," or "I wasn't a victim at all." Let's not act like there haven't been victims that weren't exactly victims. Let's not act
Right.
like that. Just because you dislike somebody, it doesn't give you the right to just completely tarnish their name. Or I mean, he tarnished it on his own, but to add things to it. I'm talking about an everyday person. If I am accused of something, think about that football player that was in Long Beach that was accused right
Right.
when he was on his way to college. 10 years later, after her mama spent that money, she didn't even get a piece. Now you want to tell on your mom. She did no jail time, no nothing. That baby missed going to the NFL the way that he could have, college the way that everything was taken from him, and he was taken to jail and he just walked away. She was a victim, so we shouldn't have questioned. That's what happens when you don't fucking pay attention to the different things you need to pay attention to. Even a victim needs to be prepared for questions. You have to. Now, how you ask them, you better be asking them right. Don't freaking interrogate them, but they have to be able to prove it, especially this day and age, because it's
Yep.
out of control. It really is. Let's see. True and happens every day. It does. It's sad in regular places for money to sue school districts and things like that. So imagine somebody that is money is just endless and it's easy to jump on the bandwagon. Not everybody that's saying something about this man is telling the truth, just like most of R. Kelly's is not true. And probably one of, I'll just say I don't think Bill Cosby should have been in jail. That's my opinion. Anyway, number 5. Let's go to number
So the
5.
names that you just mentioned, Barack Obama, Steven Tyler.
I think we need number 6.
This is something that has only recently become accepted by a large amount of people. Until now, a lot of people would look at you, Allie Carter, and say, "You're crazy." And Is that what these people at CPS held over your head and said, you're going to go to Arizona? You keep talking crazy like this. We're very concerned about your mental health. Is the gaslighting something that they did to try to make you doubt your own experiences, your own personal knowledge of what it was that was going on, the horrific tragedy that you were experiencing? I mean, is that what they would do? Is that the tactics?
Yes, I was taught pain is pleasure. I was taught that you do not speak unless you're spoken to. I was taught that as a foster care kid, you have nothing but what's in your trash bag that you carry from home to home when you're evicted from foster home to foster home. I was in over 19 high schools in 1 year. I never stayed in a place longer than a month. I was never in a home. I was moved all around because nobody wanted to talk about it. Nobody wanted to do anything about it. The California Ombudsman was contacted. My foster mother, that is now my adopted mother, I'm adopted now, she went to everyone. She went to the police. She went to the California Ombudsman. She went to private investigators. She talked to judges, attorneys, lawyers. She went to everyone, and everyone shut her down.
So let's just talk about that. If you are moved around because nobody wants to address it, you would not be moved from one street to the next street. Because basically that's what you were. You were still in the same county, same state, same district. So moving you, they don't need to move you. If they control it all, they don't need to move you. That doesn't exactly make sense. And if your adopted mom had you, remember the time frame we're dealing with is 16, possibly the end of 15, until let's just say 18.
18, yeah.
In 2.5 years, 3 years, remember all of this is happening. It's highly unlikely. And it's also highly unlikely that somebody would adopt somebody that age with a record like that.
Right.
And be experiencing those type of things as a result of adopting this child. Is highly unlikely. It's almost, you would have to be a Power Ranger to take that on. And because you're not saying my parents, you're saying my adopted mom.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the dad? That's not very likely, especially in California. It's just not very likely. It's not. What is something that stuck out for you in that clip? This shit is wild.
Remember, it was the 19 schools in 1 year. That was her.
Right.
When she said that, I was already done with her at Buckingham Palace. So it's just more, I was already done. But when I heard her say that, I was just like, girl. So I guess in that clip, it was the 19 schools in 1 year. 19 schools in 4 years is still a lot. If you went to 19 schools in 4 years, that's a lot. But for 19 schools in 1 year,
that's not even possible.
Exactly.
Because my next question for her would have been, did you get your, or, well, what school did you graduate from? Because it's impossible that you graduated. And why wouldn't they have put you on homeschool? Why would they have you in actual school? It's too many things that, and what
don't make sense.
No offense, but like I tell people, your child is amazing to you, not the world. Why would you pick this kid to do all of this to have there when you could literally pick? Why would you pick somebody in Moreno Valley that you got to get back to Moreno Valley every day? Does Diddy have a house in LA? Yes, he does. Does he spend most of his time there? No, he does not. So, because remember, this all goes back to Diddy, because she is now saying that that's who the person is. I know you get lost because she didn't say it in any of this interview.
Yeah, before it was Obama, Biden, and Michael.
Exactly, and Too Short. I'm guessing that was the connection to LA. I don't know.
Akon, like
all people that are not in LA, because that's where you're closest to is LA. But according to you, there's Lear jets under the ground during the daytime. Okay. Let's see the comment.
Let's
I
see.
believe
Oh,
CPS some are predators.
yes.
Absolutely, it's the devil's playground. Once
Yes.
she said it, when I sent it to Ro, I was like, "Oh my god!" So she brings up amazing points, and that's why I still wanted to cover, because I'm glad that she said something, because she even says, and I don't think I put it in there, if there are 200 to 300 kids missing a year, how come we only get 2 to 3 Amber Alerts on our phone? Great point. She has great points. And that ties back to me believing she is definitely a victim. She's definitely a victim in her own space, not in this space. It's not,
Right.
you get what I'm saying? So her even saying, ain't nobody even paying attention to CPS. That goes back to what we all say. We need to start watching these teachers, these policemen, the people that really matter, because he ain't the one that really matter. I mean, he is, but what about the kids? Like she said, she want. I think the timing is perfect. I do. I listen and notice how people are not paying attention to it. They still are only thinking about, when we looked at more videos, I'm still really only talking about Diddy. That's not really what she's talking about. Pay attention to what the girl is really talking about. She spends most of her time saying, nobody cares about these kids. Nobody's paying attention to these kids. Because if trafficking is the highest business across the world, why isn't there more? Who are they being trafficked to? Our everyday people. Why isn't anybody really paying attention to that? This is a distraction. I agree with her. How she did it, girl, be careful. But I don't think it was none of them people. It's just not. And a lot of these people that said it is lying. Number 7. This got to start working better. No? Yeah, I'm clicking a button. I can't make this up. Let me try for my phone. Hold on 1 second. I said number 7.
And every
Right?
single
This is
time I came in with cracked ribs, with bruises, with bites, with rape kits beyond rape kits. No one did anything. I went from shelter to shelter, from CPS report to CPS report, and CPS is your cover up. I have so much evidence. I have so much information, but I don't know who to give it to, and I don't know who to honestly talk to, because there's nothing that have come of it.
That part had pissed me off. You don't know who to give it to, but you on this show right now. That was your prime opportunity to put everything out there. What do you mean
But
on to give it
you
to?
said your mama went to the FBI, police, this person, that person, so that you could be believed. You didn't give it to them. I thought you said you did it. The hospital alone, you guys. She says she has a plethora of RAPE kits. Again, some of these things don't make, well, none of them do, because even if you have control, you still don't control everything, and it would trigger other things to occur. You can't keep if she says she was removed from the system, if she says she was flying under the radar, if she was saying things like Cassie and them, brought this they brought this person here to do this, or she's saying she's going home every day. That's number 1. Then she's from Buckingham Palace. And then you mean to tell me you went to the hospital and it didn't trigger at least somebody to be a downfall person? No type of arrest was made during this, like nothing. Because at some point, they would have had to have a throwaway BITCH. And everybody from the hood knows what that is. One person is going to take the fall every now and then. You have to, because you can't keep letting these accusations come without doing nothing at all. So you have to have a throwaway fall person every now and then to show that you're doing something. And again, just her.
Right.
Sounds like a whole lot of trouble. It don't sound like they like to make trouble. Next.
When you say that Trump has given money to trafficking organizations, you mean organizations that fight trafficking, right?
Human trafficking.
I just want to make sure that I understand that. He's not participating in funding human sex trafficking.
No, that's not what I believe, and no, that is not what I've ever heard. I believe that Trump has done something because he is the only president that has mentioned it, and Trump is the only person that I haven't seen, to be honest with you.
So firsthand, these people were in a room with, I want to be absolutely 100% candid. Barack Obama,
Yes.
Joe Biden, these people raped you. And you say that you have these mountains of evidence that nobody wants to look at. What evidence do you have?
We have police reports, we have rape kits, we have information, we have videos, we have so much. But again, there's so much that I can't put completely out there, and I have mountains of it.
By you saying that alone, you put it out there already. You said the
You
president's
said it,
name.
so you might as well put it out
You
there.
said the president's name. You said his wife's name, and you said the vice president's name. Then you said the only person that you didn't see there was Trump.
That's
said
when
the
I
only
said that's when as soon as she said that, I knew they put
Yeah,
her
you
up.
can't get over that part.
They put her up to it, because what did Trump even have to do with this? He's the only person I didn't see at the parties.
And he's the
Girl.
only person that's ever spoken about it and given money to it. No, Oprah has, Candy Burris has.
But remember, Oprah was part of the people that was our
But what
age.
I'm saying is, she said that's the only person
Yeah,
that's given
they-
money
exactly.
and donated, and
And
where
the
he
only person
donated it
that
to, the
didn't see it.
501c3s are a part of it as well. I am not. Don't do that. She's speaking too broad for me. And how do you just pick this man out and say that so you don't follow nothing else, but you know that
You didn't see him there out of all the other people, celebrities and stuff. Oh, I didn't see. I'm pretty
and
sure
you saw him donate. When did we see him
Right.
donate? When does he even talk about that?
he don't. He
But
just
according to
said about
her,
how many people is at a function and all that, at a rally.
Trump does things in plain sight that are almost laughable. If I had to put my money on it, I would say that it was from him, because it makes no sense that you just named the whole cabinet,
And then it
added
was
in a
like, and I
couple of
didn't see-
people.
Yeah, and then I didn't see Trump, but I see that he donated. So I'm telling you, and you know, I'm like, nah.
So you didn't see Trump, but you also didn't see Diddy.
Right.
Because 4 years later, now you're telling us it was at his house. But you never mentioned him. But you made special call out and shout out to the one you have hope in. The Salmon Man. Mm-hmm. This man is out of control, and he should have been in trouble for this. But that's just me. He should have been in trouble. Let's see. That man said if his daughter wasn't his, he'd date her.
Right.
35 convictions. But you trust him. No problem. No problem. Okay. Last two.
When you say that Trump has given money to trafficking organizations,
Sorry, y'all. I promise I lose count. But I do understand that when I was 16, I ran away from CPS. This is how I escaped. I was auctioned to Russia. I knew that if I went to Russia with this man, that I would not come back and I would die. So I ran away and I hid for a year. I did what I had to do, and I can't say exactly what I had to do because it would put some people in danger. It hasn't ended at all. I'm 27 years old now, and it should be done.
Real quick. 16, right? From 16 to 17, she was supposed to go to Russia, but she was hiding. Rewind. During that time she was hiding, they was pulled over 8 times. The house was raided. The
Right.
FBI came out. All of these things. She was in hiding. 16 is when she said all of those other things happened. But 16 is also when she was hiding.
Mm-hmm. I
What
almost
would
hate that
happen?
I had seen that because I swear I was mad.
No,
I
I'm
was
glad
mad.
that you did because we would have went completely in. We would have went in beyond going in because one thing I don't play about is kids, and this video would not have been monetized, and I was ready to accept that because I know how my mouth is. Every other word would have been stupid, bitch, not to her, to him, because the video was so believable because it
Mhm.
was so detailed, and it once. So my family, a lot of my family, obviously as a Delta, any thing like that, we work with people a lot. And social work, teachers, those type of things are the top careers that we have because we are truly dedicated to give back. So to hear something like that and for it to trigger me that CPS is where this happens. So we already know people don't get treated right there. But I have loved ones that work in that field and they care. So to know, it just gave me a lot of mixed emotions because if that could be the devil's playground, that would be the best place that nobody ever thinks of. Because who really keeps track of the how many people visit the kids like they should, or they're connected, or if something happens, you wouldn't know. That truly triggers something in me. So no, I'm glad you found it because the video would have been way different. It would have been way different, and it would have been wrong.
Yeah, that is true.
It would have been completely wrong because there's way too many contradictions. Do I still believe that that's probably a melting pot for doing this? I still do. Do I believe that it should be attached to this man's name? I do not. Do I obviously believe that the president and Michelle is a man and all of these things? I don't. And I don't believe that she's the only person that could get from Moreno Valley to Buckingham Palace and back to school on time for the bus. Y'all, in Moreno Valley, there are no buses for schools either. Buses don't pick up kids in Moreno Valley. They don't have school buses. Just so you're aware. They don't have school buses.
I didn't really think she was saying that she was going to Buckingham Palace from because I know that's just
Well,
unbelievable.
twin, when did she go?
I don't know. I guess on the weekend.
We only got 16 to 18.
Look, I'm like, I don't know. I guess on the weekends.
Okay, I
Or
mean,
during the summer break. Or something. Because it ain't no way she that with that part. That's why I was like, just even her saying going to Buckingham Palace. I'm
because
like,
she never
girl,
answered y'all. That's why we don't know. She never
yeah.
answered how anything with Buckingham Palace, anything with the
When they
museum.
asked her how it looked, where she was at, she would say something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
what did you even come on there for then? If you want to let all this be known and all this, what did you even come on there for? Because no, we didn't get an answer to anything.
Mm-mm. And yet, that video that she did that played towards the end, where it shows some of the different things that she said, is trending on TikTok.
Yeah.
But like me and Ro always do, we're going to plug that name in. Before we start doing something, we're going to plug it in. Had Ro not found that, I would have plugged it in at the last minute to look for stuff, and I would have had to change all of tonight. I wouldn't have did it. I wouldn't have did it because I need more information because, and she's talking to somebody. Somebody's on the side of her as well, but not for support. Like they're giggling a little bit. Because I told Ro, I noticed she kept looking to the side of her. Well, when I played it back the second time, I heard the voice of the second person. You know, obviously, when you hear something and it triggers you a little bit, you don't hear everything the first time because you really locked in on that person to listen to them. Well, when I went back to listen to it after hearing the other video, I even heard it completely different. I did because when your compassion kicks in, your only goal is to listen, show compassion, and things like that. It's not to pick it apart. It's just not. But yeah, I don't. She's getting paid. She has to be.
Yeah.
What right reporter on their platform would even do that initial type of video? And then you want to complain about it being pulled down because it may interfere with the election. No, that was pulled down because it's wrong.
And then even the one that I found with the black lady that was dissecting it piece by piece that made it 2 hours. Even she reached out to her because she believed her at first until she seen that video. And she was telling her, like, if you saying that you have the videos, I have the right people to put the videos in their hand and we'll pay you. Like, if it's money that you need, we'll pay you. You wouldn't have to live out of no car or whatever you saying, no dungeon or wherever you was at. The girl still never. That's when she was like, she knew she was lying. Cause I'm telling you, I'll get it into the right hands for you.
Those
Because I
videos,
was the victim. I was
anybody who has videos right now, they are shopping them. It is widely known. They've said it already because people were offered they were offered the videos, but some people specifically said no because but they saw a piece of it. So they're like, no, the video is really out there. But it's some part of that video that is making them uncomfortable with sharing it. I would anticipate that these videos are going to be hard, not because of who's in them that you want to prosecute, but who's in them on the other side of those videos. Y'all got to think it's other people that you have to think about. So while you gunning for somebody, you really need to think about people that are going to catch stray bullets, people that are going to be exposed that may not want to say that they're a victim yet. And I'm really happy for the people that are not buying these tapes because they very well could, at the compassion that is being considered, because it's really important. But at this point in time, where that girl put out this video, to continue to say you don't know whose hands to put them
right.
in, when that man is sitting in jail and they have already seized all of these tapes, how do you not know who to put it in the hands when we know that there's another lawsuit with 130 more victims or something, and 25 as kids? It's like what is that, a civil suit at this point. So how do you not know who to put them in their hands? And like the girl said, I could tell you who to put them into their hands. You're not hiding. You went on TikTok. You went and did that other video and you gave names. So Rep, you said RAPE. It doesn't matter what the details are.
Right.
The point is that that's the accusation, and that's what's most important. The details are actually for them to prove it. But you already said they did it. So who could get in trouble if you come out and say something?
Nobody.
Because according to you, they know where you are and they pulled you over just in that time 8 times.
You would have been gone then.
Especially with the names that you said, ma'am.
Yeah, you would have been gone then. That first time. Ain't no getting no second time.
And to your point, nobody checks for certain people. So if they do it to famous people and make them go away, and why wouldn't they? I mean, they would either pay you to go away or they would make you go away. I think you're playing with fire. And if your goal is truly to help other kids and bring out other people, which I really think that's what it is, somebody needs to help her go that route, because this route is going to get her hurt. It just is. And it's not fair to throw those names out there. Michelle Obama, Akon, Barack. Why don't you just say Benjamin Button at this point? Because I don't believe the president, I really believe he has ED. It's too old. But ma'am, you were sold to him plenty times. In that one night, Buckingham Palace, the museum, because none of them are on the West Coast. Well, that's all I gotta say. I will tell y'all again that the links are in the description below to the interview that you just saw that she did 4 years ago. And then the link is also there for the TikTok video where you can hear that it's completely different now, but that her passion is really there for recognition of protecting the children. And she does make valid points about people not paying attention to everyday people and to what is happening to children allegedly in CPS, in the system. Allegedly, unallegedly. Too many people have said something. But that is it for us from us tonight. Thank you for joining the show. Jose, what are your closing remarks?
Stop lying. Stop lying, because you make people that really are victims, it's gonna be hard for them. Quit lying. Stop lying. That's my ending remarks. Stop lying. Stop being a liar. Go
Stop
write a
being
book.
alive. Get some
Go
help.
write a book or something. Like, you'll still be a #1 seller somewhere. Like, go write a book or something. Don't do that. Quit lying.
You very well could. On story, I mean, look at Risa Tisa.
Yeah.
Hers was a real story, but you could tell. People tell stories all the time on TikTok that are not real. It's like almost like an audio book, and they are doing very well. Storytime is actually one of the best places to be on TikTok and on social media, specifically TikTok. So I am with you, and I do believe at some point they need to implement a repercussion
Yep.
for those that are found to not be telling the truth, because you tarnishing somebody's name like that, even if they're found to not have done that thing, that doesn't reach everybody that it reached before. So you may walk in and apply for a job one day and that person remembers you from when and doesn't know that you didn't do it, but they're not going to tell you. That's why they're not giving you the job, or why they're not dealing with you. You won't even know. The same people are not touched to clear your name, and it's not right. um, and I believe whatever you took from them should be taken from you. They did 5 years. You should have to do 5 years. And you should owe them the restitution. I think you, because that will make people stop lying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So is it harsh? I don't think so. Eye for an eye. Don't y'all read the Bible? Well, go read it and pray for our children, because this is crazy.
Yeah.
And be a good person. That's it from us tonight. Make sure that you like the video, share, and subscribe on the way out. If you are listening in replay, thank you for listening, and comment below. We'll be in the comments responding to people. Have a good night, and that is it from us. Good night. Boy, babe.